greetings. It's Vanessa-Mary, your favorite holistic wellbeing coach, coming back with another episode of it's a series where I'm interviewing fantastic men and women who are part of the Festival of Collaboration that's coming up here in Nottingham. It's the Seeds of Unlimited Success. It's a family business growth summit happening on the 17th of May. So yes, if you've been following me, you may have noticed that I have launched a new podcast series, which is called Leading with Heart. And I will be interviewing people on that shortly. But today and on Thursday, actually, is all about the event, so that if you are coming, you get to meet the leaders who are involved in making this wonderful event happen with me. And also we have virtual tickets available as well. So let me bring on today's guest. She's a wonderful woman who I've been introduced to by another wonderful woman. You see, this is positive energy. This is what happens. So I'm going to bring her on. Her name is Yasmin Wong. She's shortened it to Yaz, so I think that's okay for me to call you Yaz. Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself.
Brilliant. So so we've just had a little chat backstage, and Yasmin, you're going to introduce yourself. So do you want to tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, please?
Yeah, so basically, I've actually been running an events management company for about 17, 18 years now. This was up until 2024. So shortly after that, it was very hard work, I would say. Obviously, I've got a little one, and running an events business, turning up at coming home at 5, 6 in the morning after an event was very, very difficult. And I thought, this is not going to work for me or, my family. But luckily, just before we decided to call it quits with the event management company, we started out a property business, and we basically put contractors into accommodation across the UK. So if it was like a construction company or a medical company or insurance company, they will come out to us if they require accommodation, and we'll just basically put them into a place to stay. So we've had about, I would say, at the peak time, we've had about 35 properties running in one go. So we rented them from landlords and then rented them back out to contractors. We've also just bought ourselves our first HMO property as well, back at the end of last year. It was about August time, actually, so August 2024. So we actually bought a care home, a 6-bedroom care home, and we're converting it into a 9-bedroom HMO with 15 parking spaces as well. Sorry, with a 15 years lease on the parking space, but there's 9 parking spaces in total. So that's an ongoing project. It was due to finish, around about now, but we've got some obstacles at the moment with the council and stuff. So we've got all that to overcome. And then we've got this travel business as well. So we help we do bookings for friends, family, clients, and we earn from the bookings every single time. And we've started now helping loads of other people set up their own travel business franchises as well, and earning residual income from it. So yeah, we've got different passive.
A lot going on.
Tons of passive residual income coming from all different angles. But it took a long time to get here. I have been working for forever, like 18 years non-stop. It's been so full on. So to finally see some passive income coming in now is great.
Wow, you've shared so much. We are going to unpack that as we go along. So just to set the scene, I've been introduced to you by one of your team members in your travel business. So that's the amazing Humera Cox, who I network with. And Humera was at the event last year. So I don't know if she kind of came back and shared her experience with you from last year. But what happened was when I announced at the event, yes, I'll be doing it again, she came up to me and she was like, I would like to exhibit with you next year. So this year, so she's actually an exhibitor, which is amazing. So your travel business will be represented through Humera. So that's going to be so exciting. And when I was talking to Humera about what I wanted to achieve this year, I was saying to her, I'm very keen for us as the audience to hear leadership lessons. So people who are a little bit further ahead in the journey and really give some nuggets and wisdom. And property was on my mind because I was thinking, I've had a past experience with my grandparents who were property developers. They were buying properties, renting them out and things like that. But personally, I don't know that many people in the property game. So that's where Humera, suggested that I speak with you. So I just want to go back on that because obviously the event is families working together. So do you want to tell us about who you're working with in your property business there, please?
Yeah, so in the it's called Hello Living. So, in the contractor accommodation business, that's with my husband and with two other friends. And then with the HMO business, that's with my husband, my sister, and my brother-in-law. So there's four of us in
Wow.
each business.
So
Yeah.
you're actually having to work with not only teams, but people who you've got a very close connection
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been quite challenging at times as well. So it's not,
Yeah.
there's pros and cons, I guess, working with family.
Yeah, well, this is what the event's about as well. I mean, I've titled today's conversation Creating Legacy Through Travel and Property. And you've just expressed that you are starting to see residual income with what you're doing. Just going back to the event business that you were doing, was you working with your husband at that point, Yaz, or were you on your
Yes,
working up?
husband as well, and my sister for many years, and then she decided to just do it as a part-time. So we just, she just helped a little bit on the marketing side as a part-time, but it was mainly me and my husband
Right,
on
so
that.
you've actually worked together for it sounds like quite
Yeah,
a few years then.
me and my husband, we literally got together just before the events business started. So me and my husband now, we got together been together for about 18 years now. So yeah, so we've literally been working alongside each other for so many years.
So many years. So you've basically grown up because you're a young woman. So you've grown up
Yeah, yeah.
together, been in business together.
Yeah, it's been quite challenging. I mean, he always says to me sometimes, and he tells his friends that, literally, I feel like I'm coming home to a what's the word? I feel like I'm coming home to a business partner and not a wife sometimes. So it is really challenging because you can imagine. I'm like, he comes home and I'm like, right, today we've got this to do. Before he's probably even had a chance to sit down and eat. He's probably hiding in the toilet for
Mm.
about 30 minutes before he's willing to come to see me.
Well,
So it's quite hard.
one of the masterclass that we have got via Lindsay Hall, she's entitled it "Love and Business. It's All Connected." So
Mm.
she is going to be talking specifically for those who want to tune into her message about how you can get that blend, keep the love alive. Obviously, well, I don't know the course because I'm not on it, but I've interviewed her, and I understand that because I was talking to Linda Booth last week, who has been married for nearly 50 years, working with her husband for a very, very good chunk of time. And she expressed similar to what you've just said there. So, there are lots of couples that work together that can have very successful marriages and build a very successful business. But I think, like you're saying, this is now our time. It's not about the business. It's, about our family. But you are a mum as well.
Yeah, I am. I'm mum of a
Yeah.
2.5-year-old. It's
Oh.
so hard. It really is. It's hard work. It's easier coming to work than it is looking after him at home.
Yeah, well, to
It's
be
really
fair,
hard.
yeah, I mean, obviously the little ones, he's going through his own development stage. But if you're a first time mom, so it doesn't come with a handbook, it's something that you do have to work out. But again, going back to the community, I'm trying to express to those who are following this podcast and looking at the information I'm putting out, this is more than just an event, Yaz. This is me, gathering like-minded men and women with families to actually have that conversation. Like maybe you'll find yourself speaking to someone like Linda who's further down the line in life, in business, and saying, how have you done it? They've had a very successful holistic wellbeing practice. They've got a son. Now she's a grandmother. And, they've kept that journey going, and they'll be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary soon. So it's such an interesting journey. I mean, I'm coming from the other end, really, where with my older children, I raised them on my own, but I just had this drive that I wanted to create something. I wanted them to feel proud of me. I am a grandmother as well, so now I've got my granddaughters, but I've also got a 6-year-old, so I'm somewhere in the middle. I've got these older ones and then this little one, so my mind is very much about my family. I've realized that the word legacy is meaning different things for me nowadays. So it's not just about money. It can be, even me doing these podcast series, when my granddaughters get older and they're thinking, oh, what did my grandmother do? They've got this as a memory. I want to write a book, so legacy can be different things, but property is a way that families are basically creating generational wealth. Like I said, my own grandparents, that's something that they did. So I want to find out, how did you get started? And is it called rent to rent, this model?
It is sort of. How did it get started? So on the on the HMO side, we've always wanted to do it. To be fair, we've wanted to do it way before COVID times. But it was just really hard to find the deal, and I think we were just overthinking. I mean, we've attended so many seminars about the HMO property business. We've attended so many, and it was just, we're thinking like, are we just overthinking, like trying to like stack the deal constantly, and it's just not stacking. But in the end, we actually got ourselves a mentor to kind of like guide us. I think it was just having that leap of faith, just making that first move. I think that's what we were scared of. It was just making that first move, making that first purchase. Even though we kind of know what we're doing, but so we decided to get ourselves a mentor in the end, so that he can guide us through the journey. But I would say sometimes you've also got to trust the mentor as well. It's we've got to be careful with the mentor that you pick as well, because we have been through, I'm not going to lie, quite a couple of mentors, and sometimes they can sell you the whole package, and it's not. You've got to be careful. Yeah, the same whole package, it's not what it seems. So I think people have got to be careful with that as well. So a lot of the times now, I would say we're doing a lot of things ourselves hands-on now. With the other side of the business, it was because my friends, they were already in the property game already, and I just literally, me and my husband approached them and said, like, we really do want to learn. We've been trying to get foot into this industry for a very, very long time. Is there anything that you guys can do to help us get onto the doorstep into the property game? And then they pitched us some ideas, and in the end we joined forces, and and then it's been great since then. We've been operating now, say, since 2022, so good 3 years now, and every year it's been growing. The income's been growing year on year on year, and our client base is getting stronger and stronger. Our landlord base is getting stronger and stronger. So really, really happy for all that.
Wow, this is incredible. So the first thing that I'm picking up was education was important to you, that you wanted to study. Again, going back to the relationship you have with your husband, it's something that you went, you've done together, you've been to the seminars, you've taken on the knowledge. So I do feel that a lot of people, they're not necessarily being committed to continuing to learn, particularly, if it's something new, or even if you've been doing something for a while, there's always something new that we can bring into our life and help us. So I'm really pleased to hear that the seminars were helping you. But I do agree, I've heard from other people that have said, actually, I'm not too sure about that particular mentor, but unfortunately, it's just one of the things that we go through. I've been along and invested in mentors, and I thought, I don't really think that I've actually got the return on my investment.
Yeah.
But I've met some great people along the way, so that's something that I will keep hold of. We do have Angel who has tuned in. And she's asked, can I be part? So yes, you can be, Angel, if you can get to Nottingham on Saturday, the 17th of May. After the live stream, I will be putting the link so you can check out the full program. We have 12 confirmed speakers. We've got exhibition stalls. We have masterclass leaders. We've got wonderful men and women like Yaz, who are going to be on the leadership panel taking questions. And there's going to be a delicious hot lunch and refreshments. What more do you want? Oh, and great car parking. What more do you want? So yes, and if you wanted to tune into the virtual, you are going to get access to everything that's being shown in the main hall. The only difference is you will be doing online networking. So when the face-to-face group are doing networking, you'll be having your own networking session. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. So congratulations, Yaz, because you've just told me that you are now an auntie. So your family's getting bigger, which is fantastic. And let's talk a little bit about travel. And while we do that, I have asked Yaz's permission to bring in my Moonology cards. She was a bit like, oh, what's that? What's that? But I was telling her that with the moon, we're in a new season of a new moon now. And it just means that if we're doing any manifestations, this is where we're really thinking about what do we want in our life? What do we want to bring into our life? That working with the energy of the moon will really help us. So yeah, she's agreed to it. So we'll pull some cards and see what comes through. But Yaz, tell us about the travel business and how long have you been doing that? And just tell us, like, how's it going for you?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been another really good stream of income for myself. So I always encourage that for everyone. Don't just keep to one stream of income. Try and build yourself multiple streams of income, because you never know what's going to happen. You may be made redundant the next day. You don't know what's going to happen. But I've started out on the travel business 3 years ago. So I initially joined for myself, really. I really liked the sound of booking travel for myself. When every time I go on holiday, I save, I earn money from it. I like the little travel pets that might come along with it as well. Like, you might get just the same as if you work for any industry. If you work for retail, you might get 50% off clothing. If you work for a gym, you might get free gym membership. In the travel industry, you get potentially like complimentary upgrades and things like that. So, that's why I initially joined. But then fast forward, June 2022, just before I came on maternity, I wanted to earn some additional stream of income. So I started booking travel for my clients, friends, family. Every time they traveled, I'll get paid for. And then it was only in October 2024 when my sister asked me to book her honeymoon for her over in Mauritius. And she goes, well, what would be if I was to join as a travel agent, what would be the difference in terms of pricing? And she would be saving herself $4,000. So she was like, right, no brainer, I'm going to join as a travel agent. So since then, I've literally been helping so many people set up their own travel business franchises and earning an additional set of income from it. So I now get passive income from this every single month as well. So yeah, anyone who's interested in having a separate side hustle or even full-time, doing it full-time as well, yeah, definitely get in touch. It's so low setup. I say to some friends, I've paid thousands for mentorship before. Setting up a business, any business, it could cost thousands and thousands of pounds. But having your own travel franchise or your own travel business, it's £156. It's a one-off fee. You've got your own business in a box, the whole system, the whole payment gateway, all the training to get your travel accreditations, the whole lot. And you'll have one-to-one support either with myself or with another team member, and there's ongoing training all the time. So it's literally a no-brainer. But there are so much, the earning is unlimited, and the sky's your limit. Basically, you can earn as much as you want or as little as you want.
That's fantastic. Well, for myself, I'm a well-being coach. I'm with a nutritional company. That's where I've started. I have literally just shared my story in a business breakfast group that I'm with. And I've explained to them that, now over the last 12 years, I'm now more promoting myself. So I do still promote the nutritional products, but I have now got my own coaching packages. I've got this event. I'm actually showing people how they can do biohacking and get to understand their body. It's all additional income streams. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was working part-time. Yes, I was working part-time at the university and doing my coaching business part-time. The money from the university was another income stream. The money from the university became the investor in my enterprise. It was like literally so wonderful. So, if anybody is listening, remember, Yaz is a mom. She has already got 2 businesses that she's told you about. Yeah. Listen to my story. If you're a mom, if you're a dad, if you're thinking about going into business, but you're not sure, this is still the event that you want to be at. Last year, Yaz, we had a young woman in the audience. She was there with her baby. She wasn't even going to stay because she's the daughter-in-law of one of the speakers. She was only nipping in. And then she said, she kind of listened to some of the talks and she was like, is it okay if I stay? And my MC, Angela, was like, yeah, of course, no problem. She stayed. And 2 weeks later, they invited me to a meeting that they were having. She wanted to get back into her business with her mobile hairdressing business. A year later, the mobile hairdressing business is going from strength to strength. So I'm going to put the call out again. If you're listening in as someone who's unsure, you're wanting an additional income stream, maybe you have a job. The jobs market, I don't watch the news, I don't have a television, so I can't actually quote what's happening. But we all know that we're living in very strange times at the moment. Anything can happen. The cost of living is, getting to families. Let's be honest. We will go to the supermarket and we know that when we went in a few months ago, the same items that you're buying are now costing you an extra 10, 15 pounds. This isn't a joke. Thinking about creating generational wealth is something that you have to plan for. You have to have a strategy. You have to be around the right people. And having an additional income stream is going to get you there faster, particularly property. Very interesting, Yaz. I'm going to actually share the first card that's come through. It may not be relevant to you. No, it might not be relevant to you. It might be relevant to what we're talking about now. It does say, you can't really see it there. It says it's time to take action. So, just see if that resonates with you. Okay. This will be reflecting on things from our past, actually. The first, I've done 3 cards. So this will be reflecting on things from the past. What you've shared with us is a young woman, a young mother who is taking action. I think your story is absolutely phenomenal. I've just then said, anybody who's listening about additional income streams, get yourself to this event. Honestly, I've got people coming from across the country. You were originally from Nottingham yourself. That's correct, isn't it, Yaz? But you're now living somewhere else. But we've got people coming from Bath, Bristol, Portsmouth, Birmingham, London, Leicester. We're gathering them. So if you're local and you can get to Nottingham, make sure you're in the room. Maybe that's what the card's about, actually. Anybody listening who hasn't got their ticket, take action and come along. Because the additional message, okay, so this is talking about it's a wonderful new start, okay, and you're on the right track. And basically, the additional meaning is saying that you need a 12-month plan. You need a 12-month plan. It did say tune to the moon, so don't think about giving up. So remember what I said, it's a new moon coming in. So anybody listening, if you are thinking you want to start a new project, maybe you want to go for a new job opportunity, something like that, don't give up. Believe in yourself. But whatever you do, you need a plan. I am telling you, this is for the audience listening here. This investment in this day, in your time, your commitment, you are not going to regret it. You're going to meet exceptional young women like Yaz, like other leaders who are going to, even you, Yaz, you could say just one simple thing to somebody at that event based on your experience that could set them on track to taking action, to getting a plan for themselves.
One thing.
One thing.
What they need to do.
Well, you could say it now, or I'm just saying, if they're in the room, to be around someone like yourself, what you're talking about, okay, you said it very gently. Oh, yeah, we're doing, and now that's a big deal. What you're achieving in the property space, even myself, I've looked at some of these adverts and some of these seminars, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds interesting. I even, I can't remember his name now, Simon. Oh, you probably know his name. Oh, gosh, his name's lost me. He's got very white hair. Anyway, I invested in his course, okay? And I've done nothing with the information.
Oh, no.
What you are achieving in the property space is absolutely incredible. I'm just saying, yes, you could say one thing today on the call, or when you're in the room meeting somebody that could literally change their life, okay? It's absolutely incredible. Do you know who I mean? What's it called? Oh, I'll have to say.
It's got a funny
surname. I think it begins with S. You know who?
Yeah.
And he does. It does the proper. I think he does sort of networking. Pin. Is it a pin?
Yeah.
It does the networking for property investors.
Yeah.
I think it's called Property Investors Network. I think that's what it stands for.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is the type of thing you've already demonstrated that you studied. You really asked a lot of questions before you went into it. And, you know, you will carry on achieving your success. So, yeah. So where should we go from here then? So we've spoken about your property. We've spoken about your travel business. Let's talk about family in the wider sense. Nottingham is where you started. Do you still have family in Nottingham at all?
Yeah, so my mum and dad are still in Nottingham. They're Nottingham based. So I do come back and see them every now and again, or they will come up to see me. I do love Nottingham, to be fair. I should be going back more often. It's a nice little
city. Yes. And where are you based now then, Yaz?
So I'm based in just outside of Birmingham.
Okay.
So not too far, so not too far from Nottingham. So it's about less than an hour's drive to Nottingham. Really excited to come to this event.
Yes, I was going to say, do you notice the changes when you do come back? I don't know if you get a chance to go into the city centre, but there's been a lot of changes.
Yes, there's so many new restaurants. It's crazy. And every time I come back, it's like there's a new restaurant, or there's like a road diversion, or like this road's blocked off. You can't drive this way anymore. And it's just, so it's developing very, very quick. It's just every other month I come back and it changes. Yeah.
Something's changing. Because what I'm doing for those who are coming, I mean, it won't be applicable to yourself because you're born here, but for people who are traveling to Nottingham for the event, I'm going to put together a little guide, actually. You know, hopefully we can find somewhere to eat for those who are staying on the Friday night. We can go for dinner beforehand and that type of thing. So that's something. They won't be in the city centre because Eastwood Hall, are you familiar with Eastwood Hall? Because it's on the outskirts.
Yeah, it is on the outskirts. I'm not familiar, but I'll work my way around.
Yeah, it's just off the M1. So anybody coming in a car, easy to get to. I do want to give a plug actually for a man I've just been networking with. His business is actually called, what's it called? Need a Minibus, needaminibus.com. It's like so original. But again, if you're in Nottingham and you're thinking, I can't get to Eastwood, but I really want to be at that event, please don't let that put you off. I have just spoken to Callan and said, if we can get enough people who want to come on the minibus, we can always arrange for them to meet somewhere. He can pick you up, bring you over to Eastwood Hall, and then he will do a drop-off after the event. So don't worry, I've got everything sorted. And I'm speaking to Yaz, who's also been in events. And you know what it's like, Yaz, you have to think of everything, don't you, when you're doing an event? You really do.
100%.
So I'm going to talk about the second card that's come up. Let's have a look here. It is the full moon in Pisces, which is interesting because, like I said, it's the new moon coming up. We're in actually today. Full moon in Pisces has come up here. I just want to go to the reading. I do angel readings. And like I said, I don't like offer myself out as, if anybody wants a reading, call this number. It doesn't work like that with me. The readings that I do are part of the self-love package that clients book in with. But I just started this the other day in the call here. And this card is about spirituality and practicality. You can see that. So again, I don't know if you do. I mean, I see spirituality personally as part of my self-care. Okay, people do different things. I'm not talking about religion when I talk to people about tuning into their higher self, meditation, journaling. I spend a lot of time in nature. What else would I do? Obviously, I'll do my own cards, like that type of check-in. I read the Bible, but not from a religious perspective, just for I just like to read the Bible. I like Psalms and things like that. So is there anything that you like to do at all, Yaz, which is more on the kind of like faith side, spiritual side?
I haven't really thought about that. No, I haven't. I don't. I think I'm more about trying to focus on myself right now. I think that's the only thing I'm lacking is I think I'm not focusing enough on myself. So I really need to give more time for myself, focus on my well-being, and probably do some meditation.
Yeah, I was going to say that card might be for you then, because it does say, again, tuning in with the moon, meditating every day to see what will come through to you. So if there's anything in particular, again, this is a really good time. And for anyone listening who's not familiar with meditation, I always say just 5 minutes. You can go onto YouTube and put 5-minute meditation guided. Is a really good way to start if you're not familiar with that. And it's basically saying trust your intuition. You're a mum in business. You're using your intuition all the time, even if you're not kind of thinking, this is about your gut, what your gut's telling you. Working on a big project like with the property side, you must be tuning into your intuition as things are moving forward. So that card's really just saying, because that's representing the present moment. You did explain that things are still going through with that. Just trust your intuition as things are going through, and then you can get to the end of that as well. So that's fantastic. So yeah, it's basically saying, it's all about your goals as well. But it does say practical steps. Where is it? It's basically talking about meditation. Okay. And just probably tune in to your higher self. Maybe because again, I do feel that the universe is giving us messages all the time. I actually gave a talk about this last week, which is are you living a magical business life? And it was so interesting that people who heard the talk afterwards did kind of express to me, Vanessa, you said sometimes we get messages from songs, we get messages like we could see something, maybe this card is just saying, just look out for a few things that might be trying to tell you something. Okay. So yeah, so you're going to be on the panel. Like I said, it's people who are going to be firing questions at you. I really want them to talk to you about your property experience. You know, it's literally, like you said, you use the word challenging, but from the challenges, that's how we learn and grow. I don't know if there's anything that's standing out for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been having challenges throughout the whole life, like through my whole the whole journey, not necessarily property, but from since I graduated university like 18 years ago, is everything's been a challenge. Everything that we've done has been a challenge. I mean, prior to the property business, I've tried to set up other businesses as well before. There's been a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles as well. And it's just how you overcome them, really, and just don't give up. Really don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah, I love
100%.
that. What did you
Yeah.
study as?
I studied business and psychology at university.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't. I would
Did you
say
did you study in Nottingham or did you go somewhere
I
else?
studied in Birmingham. I didn't want to stay at home. I didn't want to stay too close to the parents. At that,
Uh
at that age, the rebel age.
yeah. And then you've ended up over there. Okay,
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
interesting. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just actually because it's just based on what you've just said and the word that you've just mentioned there about your experience. This is the last card, which is the first quarter moon. 28. Again, I'm not familiar with these cards, so that's why I'm having to look in my book. But just because the moon is so powerful, I said to you before, if you notice that you could be hanging around with a different set of women and then it changes your actual monthly cycle, it's because we're all in tune with, I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but certainly happens to myself. So this card here is the last card that's come through. First quarter moon, it's saying your commitment is being tested. So it's very interesting that you said, you know, I have tried these different things over the years, but, you know, just keep going because it says here, this is something that you could maybe say if you're doing your meditation, that you are committed to your dreams and that you're moving through to achieve your dreams with confidence. Okay, so it's actually saying, what do you actually think is possible? So I'm kind of picking this up that maybe you're being told to think bigger, you know, just keep going forward with what you're doing. And it is actually saying that you are halfway to your goal. So what's ever been on your mind? Okay, yes, it might feel like maybe it's to do with this property and, you know, getting to the finishing line, but just keep going, believe in yourself, you know, obviously focusing on that self-care as well, and it will amplify everything that you're doing. But yeah, I think, you know, again, I'm just in awe of, you know, what you've achieved with your family and working together as a family as well. I think it's so beautiful. This is what I'm trying to say to people, you know, family led businesses are real. We are making up so much for the economy as well. Massive employers. The difference is family-led businesses don't necessarily get to the third generation. So the first, second generation, not necessarily to the third generation. But, you know, what we'll find is the more we work together and talk to each other and share our experiences, share our challenges, share our lessons, then hopefully it will help us to have that more foundation and see the next generations coming through. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed being with me today, Yaz. I know it's your first time on a podcast.
It is, yeah, first time podcast. And
You've done ever so well.
and yeah, it'll be first time speaking on a panel as well.
Wow.
In is it 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time?
Yeah, we've got 19 days. 19
Yeah, so
days.
looking forward to the event and looking forward to meeting so many lovely people. I think I'll be obviously learning from other people as well. Like you said, you know, you've got lots of like well-being stuff there and
lots of well-being. Yes,
so
exactly. Yeah.
that's really interesting. I think that's what I need to kind of focus myself on coming
Yeah.
up. I think at the moment I'm just working, not having a family time, not having a lot of self-care. And so a lot of that's been sacrificed. I think I really need to start looking into that, maybe speaking to people as well, learning myself at the same time.
Yeah, and that's how I've organized the event last year. We don't have a meditation session booked for this year. To be fair, just to call out for anybody, if you do meditation and you would like to be part of this event, it would be interesting for us to have someone who would do a meditation session. That session went down ever so well last year, Yaz. Really well. And what I noticed, it was when I say high flyers, it was the ones who I know are workaholics. They didn't want the other masterclass about business. They wanted to focus in on themselves. And I thought, yes, good for you. So anyway, Yaz, it's been absolutely amazing to spend this time with you today. Thank you so much for, agreeing to be part of this. You're coming along with a member of your family as well, which would be brilliant. Get to meet you and, a member of your family. And also, like I said, there's going to be opportunities for you to talk to people about this additional income stream through the travel business, or anybody who's interested in getting into property. I'm trying to think if I think there is somebody who's doing property as well. I can't think right off the top of my head now, but what I'm noticing that I'm already being able to think, oh, I would love to introduce this one to this one because they're going to have things in common. So I'll try and make those introductions along the day, all being well with the time. Anyway, my dear, thank you so much for your time. Anyone tuning in, like I said, I'm going to put the link underneath, so please do have a look. I have to put my catering order in the next, I think it's next week anyway. So if you are going to be in the room, don't dilly-dally, because that catering order means that you're going to have some delicious food with us and also some amazing refreshments as well. So we're ending it here. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to having you in the room or seeing your name on the virtual live stream. Take care. Bye.
You. Bye.